Alrighty, y'all. What's crack-a-lackin'? Thanks for tuning back into another video. I could say what's crack-a-lackin', or I could be like Jack Harlow and say what's poppin'. What's poppin'? Whatever. It don't really matter. My name is Lucas Wilson. I am shipping off to U.S. Army basic training on March 8th, 2026, and I'm documenting my journey to see how it's going to progress and where I'm going to end up. And you know the whole deal. If you haven't seen my previous videos, go ahead and check them out. You might relate to something I've said in them videos rather than what I'm going to say in this video. Or you might relate to it. Either way, I don't really give a fuck. But for those of y'all who do watch, I appreciate y'all. For those of y'all who don't watch, well, I ain't got nothing to say because you ain't watching the video anyway. Okay, this video is specifically going to be focusing on what I am afraid of going into basic training. It ain't really got nothing to do with basic training itself, but basic training is the first step in my military career, right? I guess my first step was the ASVAB, MEPS, working with my recruiter, becoming qualified and eligible. Now that I am, it is basic training next. So here's what scares me, and here's why I'm still going anyways. So I have a fear of failing, a fear of failure. And it's kind of a silly fear because I fail constantly and consistently. And that's how you learn and persevere and endure and grow and all them jazz that you heard before, you know. But I even thinking about it, you know, back to my origins. Learn how to walk, learn how to talk, learn how to run, learn how to ride a bike, learn how to skateboard, learn how to play basketball, learn how to play football, learn how to play hockey. All these things, you know, that I have consistently and continuously failed over and over and over and over again. And without failing, I have learned, well, without failing, I haven't learned how to not do the right thing. Learn how to do the math, how to get an A on my homework, how to pass this, how to pass that. You know, I got a fear of failing though. I do. It's real for me. It's always been real for me. And it's caused me not to take some opportunities that I have had and see where they can lead me in my life. But fear of failure is one of them. Another fear that I have is letting my children down, and specifically telling them that I'm going to do something and not accomplishing that something, even though I've done that before too. Yet it's still a real and consistent failure for me. Not failure, fear of mine. Another fear that I have is my stinking way of thinking surfacing in basic training. Okay, my stinking way of thinking surfacing in basic training. And what I mean by that is I am my own worst enemy. I ain't never met a bigger enemy than myself. You can say this, that, and the other to me, and yeah, it might affect me here and there, but ultimately, what I say to myself, how I think about myself, that is the worst kind of enemy, the biggest enemy that I am ever going to face. You know? That's a fear, is my stinking thinking, my old patterns, my habitual habits surfacing in basic training. And you know what? They is gonna surface. I gotta take reasonable, actionable steps to overcome them things. And I've done it before, but I gotta remind myself and be consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? New environment, new people, new challenges, new opportunities to overcome my stinking thinking. Okay. Another fear I have is not being physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually prepared for the challenge. Is it a great fear? Yeah, blah, 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 sure. but it's a real fear. Okay. And if you can relate, then you can relate. I think that I am physically and mentally ready, but the fear of not being physically and mentally ready, that's also real too. Another fear that I have is my ego being destroyed. Okay. Your boy thinks he's the shit. Your boy thinks he's the man. Even though I know I'm not, I think I am. Okay. That has no place in being a soldier, at least being a good soldier. My pride, my arrogance, it probably gonna help me, and it's probably gonna hurt me. It can be as much of a source of strength as it can be a source of weakness, I suppose. And that is just not in the army, but that's just in life, right? Or am I tripping? I don't know. Another fear I have, okay, the fear of desiring comfort. Desiring comfort rather than desiring growth. Okay. You grow in the discomfort. You grow in the pain. You grow in the fire, right? You become forged in a fire. You know, all them great things that you hear and whatever else. But you also grow in embracing the fears and walking through the fears, right? I mean, I have before. This is just going to be a whole different ballgame, you know, going from civilian to soldier. But all them things to say is, you know, I've heard the acronym that fear is false evidence appearing real. Yeah, I can spell. But false evidence appearing real. A lot of the fears that I have had throughout my entire life have not been so. They have been what you call it? I guess the acronym itself. They've been false evidence appearing real up here. Not by the days that have come before me. I mean, I guess I've manifested some fears of mine, but you know, they've kind of been out of my control, you know, so how much I've actually manifested, that's up for debate. And really, that ain't important because that's all behind me and it's history now. You know, you can operate in fear. I can operate in fear, or I can operate in faith, right? By believing in what I don't see that is yet to be seen, right? Believing in what I don't see that is yet to be seen. Maybe I should do it like this. Believing in what I don't see that is yet to be seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of what is not seen. That's the first scripture I ever memorized and actually applied in my life from the big book, the Bible. I also got another big book, but that ain't the Bible. You know, I don't think fear is a bad thing. It's not negative. I think you can respond negatively to fear, but I recognize that, you know, for as prideful as I am and as much as I think I'm the shit and I think I'm the man and I think I don't need advice from you, definitely not you. Your boy ain't fearless. Okay, I am not. I am a scared motherfucker. Okay, I'm one of them niggas who actually is fearful. I ain't fearless. Okay, but I'm not willing to stay the same person. Okay, I ain't willing to do that. Okay, I am afraid of these things before basic training. I am afraid of them in basic training. I am afraid of them after basic training. And I got some more fears that I guess I just haven't described, but I ain't fearless. I ain't a fearless Negro. I am just a Negro who's unwilling to stay who he was. Okay. It's time to grow. Right. And whether you've been through basic or going into basic, or you're going into some other venture that you are fearful of, or it's new, right? If you've been through something or are going through something that you are afraid of, okay, what fears have been, are, and will be real for you, right? These are not negatives about yourself. They are true feelings, emotions, experiences in this life. And it's part of the human condition, I suppose. You know, but what fears are real for you and what fears haven't been real for you? You know, what was true and what wasn't true? What is true and what isn't true? You know, what do you think will be true and what do you think won't be true? You know, some of us can't help our stinking thinking, and some of us can't help our minds from, you know, worrying about shit. I say that and I'm laughing because my ex-wife is always talking about worrying about shit. And I'm like, man, you ain't got to worry about this. You ain't got to worry about that. You know, you wasting all this time worrying about this and worrying about that. But, you know, your boy's over here being a hypocrite, telling her not to worry about shit. And I'm over here worrying about shit myself. And I become overwhelmed and stagnant and, unwilling and unable to walk through the doors that the man can walk through. You know, I am not fearless. I'm worrisome, and that is okay, right? That is okay. What am I finna do about it though? I'm still finna go. You know what I'm saying? What you finna do about it? You gonna go or you gonna retreat? You know, you gonna give up on yourself? You gonna self-sabotage like your boy has done a whole heck of a lot of times? Or what you finna do? You know what I'm saying? But that's what this video is about. What I'm afraid of going into basic training. What are you afraid of? If you want to communicate and network with your boy, but you ain't got to either. You know, I know my babies is gonna see this eventually, my children, and you know, I'm documenting where I'm at. Today is what's the day? Today is what's the date? Hold up. Today is January 17th, right? And oh, that's another thing. I am fearful of not staying sober and clean. That's a big fear of mine. You know, my meetings are very powerful for me spiritually, and connecting with a community of like-minded individuals on the daily to encourage me and love me and support me in a way that is real and raw and honest. And you know, if I don't find a community where others are seeking to do the same thing, you know, I'm fearful of retreating and giving up on my sobriety and my recovery. You know, but I'm still finna go, baby. You know, and we all we can do is just take things one day at a time and one moment at a time, right? And I guess, you know, these moments that I take to run my big mouth is it's a positive, you know, and it's important for me to make these videos, and I'm able to reflect on them, and I'm able to get shit off my chest. And if you can relate, then I guess I'm glad this is a relatable experience for you. So I think I'm gonna end the video. We're coming up on 15 minutes, and you know, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I appreciate y'all for rolling with me on this journey, and the support and the encouragement, whatever y'all got from me. And if you want to, like, subscribe, share, all that bullshit, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'm Lucas Wilson. Peace.